I'm done. Let's just get the divorce. I don't care anymore. I just want my kids.
Yo, I just wanted to give a shout out to Matt Hall for joining the Patreon. I don't know if you wanted me to shout you out or not. I don't know if you care, but I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for joining the team, joining the Patreon. It means a lot. It helps us out a tremendous amount. So thank you so much, man. I hope you don't mind me shouting you out. Welcome back to another episode of Daddy Issues. Today, our guest David is going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his story.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I had a lot of things I needed to say, and I'm trying to not make it antagonizing, but I think that's one of the things that I guess us as dads we kind of suffer through. Nobody really wants to. Yeah, nobody wants to hear us out, and then when we do say something, it sounds like we're antagonizing, and I'm not trying to do that. So, but I guess thank you for letting me be a part of this. I guess I'll try to summarize it without getting too crazy, but I'm 32 and I've known her since 18. I was married for legally 9 years, 8 years or 7, I guess, was the happy years, and we've been separated for about a year and a half, almost 2. It's women are strange when they decide that they want to break it off. You don't really know when they've checked out. So I say about almost 2 years based on when she checked out. And I have 3 kids. My eldest daughter just turned 9, literally last Monday, actually, and twins, 5-year-old twins. Yeah.
How is that whole situation with your kids? Do you have any sort of custody with them?
So that's what I'm working out now. We're trying to do a visitation schedule, and I had proposed my plan since February of 2024, and she rejected it, but she never came with an alternative. And we went to court around March or early April. I saw the kids for Easter. She delayed her court papers, and then I saw the kids again I saw the twins for Father's Day, and I went to see my eldest daughter for her birthday, and then I'm actually supposed to see the twins tomorrow because they're graduating kindergarten.
But you're only really seeing them on special days.
So the thing is, she won't admit that. And she already has this like new boyfriend that she plans to marry, and there's a weird thing with her and him, and then they keep saying that they're not holding the children from me. But the last time, besides Christmas, right? Well, I saw the 2 of them for my daughter's birthday, but that got a little heated. And then before that, I saw everybody on Christmas. Before Christmas,
Jesus.
right? Here's the thing. Before Christmas was Thanksgiving, and then before Thanksgiving, they both put their hands on me, like they physically.
The boyfriend too?
The boyfriend too. So this is the thing, right? So if I go back about 2 years.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, head on over to patreon.com under Daddy Issues The Truth to help support the podcast and support what we're doing. That's patreon.com under Daddy Issues The Truth. You get a little bit more content over there, stuff that we don't post anywhere else. So if you guys are about it and you want to help support, patreon.com, Daddy Issues The Truth. Thanks, guys.
Apparently, so she had really bad postpartum. I couldn't catch it. She sure as hell didn't. She caught it, and then I remember I'm coming back home one night from work, and I catch her. She's trying to go to the hospital, and I should have let her go. I should have let her go to the hospital. But the thing is, and this is why I feel so jaded, I loved her so much. Part of me still loves her. And I just got scared. I got scared when she said she wanted to go to the hospital. So I thought, oh, I'm her husband. I'm the father, of the children. Let me try to help her. Let me be the one to, not be the one, but like let me be the rock that she needed. And I told her, let's go to the hospital. I can help you. I got you. I'll figure it out. And then I couldn't do it. She ended up going, and this was actually Christmas of 2023, so about that time. She ends up going to the hospital. She freaks out on our kids. And then I freaked out because she freaked out. But I took the kids to school. She went to the hospital. She had just started a job. The job was stressful for her. She couldn't keep up mentally. She had a lot of trauma in her past. So it was postpartum that was never resolved. Stress at work, depression, everything was just piling up on her, and I was just trying to keep it all together. And so I admit that I couldn't keep it together. She goes to the hospital, I take care of the kids, I call some of my friends to help take care of the kids. Then she comes back. She came back too early because she wanted to spend Christmas. And then she blames me for not keeping her job because I called her job and I didn't send the email. So 2023 is kind of when everything starts breaking down because I take 6 weeks off of work, take her to her doctor's appointments, try to take care of her. I'm getting less money from work, so I'm trying to figure out how to do things. She used to be a swinger, and she tried to get me into it, and then she's telling me there's no more intimacy.
Now, was the swinger thing isn't for income? It's just let's just try to feel, bring the connection back or something.
Yeah. So when I first met her in college, and I actually courted her. Like I wanted to. She just wanted to just sort of be friends with benefits, and I genuinely liked her. So I actually was like, no, I like you. Like I want to take you out. Let's go out. I would feel more comfortable if you were my girlfriend. But one of the first interactions I have with her, she literally finds another girl to try and have a threesome with me and her, and I actually,
Jesus.
and it probably would have been fun, but I told her, I said no, I'm not, I don't want to do that,
Dude,
right?
good for you. It's like a T-Pain song.
I know, it's crazy. Like she was the fun girl, but I saw the beauty in her. I saw, she has, she doesn't need a lot of makeup. She doesn't need to do her hair. She has these big, when she looks at you, she has these big, like, bug eyes that are really, I mean, I find them endearing. And she has the most beautiful, she had braces, she took them off, but, like, she has the most beautiful smile. And so for me, it was like, oh, listen, if you're down for, I told her, I'm like, if you're down to, like, do crazy shit like that, we could do that later. Like, I want to, like, date you and do everything with you now. But I didn't know how deep her past was. I just knew a little bit, I knew a little bit that she did stuff like that. But because I knew she had done swinging, the swinging was to bring back the intimacy. So we started, she was smoking weed because we couldn't get SSRIs, so we couldn't get like Prozac or things like that for her. So she started smoking weed. I did it a little bit with her. I didn't really need it, but there were days that I got stressed out, so I would join her. And then sometimes I would do it with her, I guess, to make her feel better. We did have a lot of fun during those times as well, so I'm not going to lie to that. But there was a swinger at the party we went to, and she meets this girl. And she hits it off with this girl like right away because my ex likes both. She likes men and women. She mostly liked women, but she hits it off with this girl. I'm kind of just there, I did sleep with the girl like one time, but then I never really did anything with her. This girl came into the apartment for like a week and a half. I was going to work because I work in media, so I had late hours. and my ex is just hanging out with this girl. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, honestly. I'm coming back home. I'm gone 11 hours of the day. The kids are there. As far as I know, like, I come back home, I clean up, I eat, I talk to my ex for a little bit, and then I go to sleep, and then I wake up at 6 in the morning, take care of the kids for, school, take them to school. This girl is still there. Turns out this girl um, was actually engaged to a guy, but she had lied about it. So she said, no, this is just like my boyfriend. He's okay with me being at the swinger parties. This guy shows up because the girl wasn't going back home for like 2 weeks, and I had no idea. Then this guy shows up, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then so he's trying to explain everything. I told him, I said, listen, man, I met her at the party. I didn't know she was with you. I only slept with her one time at the party. It's not like I was doing anything when I was home. And there was a day that I was actually left home alone with her. And I didn't do anything. Like, I cleaned up the house. I went out to buy groceries. I came back. Like, I left her on the couch watching movies. Like, I didn't touch her or anything because she didn't even want to be with me. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, and I had my wife at the time. So and that's when I find out they're poly. So they're polyamorous because this guy, he's Nigerian, so he starts believing in all this other stuff with poly, and he deserves this and he deserves that, whatever the fuck he.
Oh, her boyfriend is also poly.
Oh yeah, so her and the boyfriend, and then
Yeah.
now they're convincing my wife at that time, my ex, to be poly, and then I'm over here like, I gave in. I tried to give it a chance, but there's levels to it.
Yeah.
So for me, my wife would have been the high priority, and then anybody under that would have been lower. And I could be committed to them, but I wouldn't really do anything because I have a wife and kids. And I told my wife too, I said, listen, if you want to like hang out with him every now and then and like go to his apartment or go hang out with them, that's fine. Just don't bring them back to our apartment. Don't bring them here because we have the kids
But
here.
how does that work? I mean, because you already have kids together, and to have another man sleep with essentially your wife, I don't. I mean, are you worried about like her catching feelings with another dude and being like, I'm gonna leave you for this other guy, or what?
So this is the thing, because I actually went to a speed dating event for poly people, and I was kind of looking for a date, but I interviewed men and women who went through it. It's kind of like socialism. The core idea is very appealing, but the practice and the execution is terrible. And so it's funny.
Right.
It's funny. I'm in NYC, and I had to move up to Hudson Valley, and I'm in Hudson Valley, and there's a lot of in the Hudson Valley. There's a lot of like queer, bi, poly people. So I run into those people upstate here as well, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is, they kind of make it work. So my issue became, I don't mind being poly, right? Because I still loved my wife. I was still going out with her. I was still trying to engage in the intimacy. And we have kids. So it's like, all right, we can go out as a family. We can live together. We can have our own separate dates, right? And then if you want to go out on a separate date, you can go. And then if I go out on a separate date, I could go, right? It's just a matter, it's scheduling, which is kind of funny because they say it promotes communication and it promotes scheduling and things like that. But I just find it to be a joke, because if you have to do that with your one spouse, your one main partner, how the fuck are you supposed to do that with multiple people, right? And you don't have the bandwidth.
Right.
I have 3 kids. I have to be emotionally invested in my 3 children and my wife. I can't really, if I were to get a second girlfriend or something, it's really just a goof off. It's really just to not do anything serious, which is kind of what the swinging was about. Based on her trauma, my ex, she never really had good friends. I used to tell her that you need to cut out some of your friends because they're not good for you. Her parents weren't good for her. You know, I used to say these things over the course of time because I've known her pretty much 14 years at this point. Doesn't want to listen to me, and then she complains about, well, I didn't do everything that I needed to do. And it's like, I was making not that much money with 3 kids. You're at home. And what it boils down to is, if you're going to be at home and I'm going to be at work, I need to be fully committed to work. I can't have you take me away from my job. And you have to be fully committed to the house. And you're not. I lost a lot of paid time, paid days. I took all my sick days off for the kids because they got sick. I never took any time off for myself. I barely took time off for her. I used the weekends to go out with her or be a family. And there was a time because of her depression that she was, I was coming home. The house was dirty. She was potty training the kids. Like, there's piss and shit everywhere. The kids didn't eat all day. They come running to me asking me for food. I would cook and leave, food for everybody to eat, and then nobody's eating. And then the crazy thing is I'm coming back at 11 p.m. I don't know if there's food. I left food in the morning. And it's funny because I would go buy a sandwich. I'd get like a chopped cheese from the deli. I come back, she wants to eat half of my chopped cheese. Okay, fine. Fine. You know what? You gotta sacrifice. I'm the man. I'm the father. I gotta give it up, right? So you want half my sandwich? Take half my sandwich. But my question is, what happened to the food that I cooked the day before or in the morning, right? Like, where was all this stuff that I used to buy, like Hello Fresh, to like pre-made meals to come and like cut cooking time in half. Like, I used to do things like that. The poly and the swinging thing got so bad that she literally said, I just want to co-parent with you. And I didn't really know what that meant. I was just thinking, okay, well, I guess we'll still be married. But then, like, she stopped dropping hints and she just flat out got to the point. She's like, you're just going to be the dad, and then you'll be like my boyfriend, but he's going to be like the first husband, but you're going to be legally married to me. And it just got, and then
Wait, who's going to be the first husband?
the guy that she's with now.
No way.
Wow. The reason I moved upstate and the reason they put their hands on me physically, but that was over the course of time. So there was a night that I tried to talk to her. She picks up a frying pan, like a really big, heavy skillet, and she's threatening me. She's like, I'm gonna hit you with this if you don't like let me go. Because I was coming back home from work, and she was watching the kids. As soon as I got home from work, she wanted to leave, and I'm over here like, what are you doing? Like, can we just talk about it? I wasn't being aggressive or anything. I'm following her. I'm trying to figure out where her head's at. She picks up the skillet. She's like, I will hit you with this. And she swings it at me. I'm not trying to catch a case. If I call the cops, she was like 110 pounds, and I'm like I'm an inch taller than her, but I'm also like 180, 190, right? Like, and if I really try, I could hurt her. I'm not trying to catch a case.
Of course, yeah.
If I call the cops, she's gonna, spin it, say I did some shit, and then I leave. She leaves. So June of 2023, actually, right before my eldest daughter's birthday, she leaves me alone for the whole month just to take care of the kids. So I called my friends. I'm like, hey, I need help with the kids. I call my job. I say, listen, I got to get a weird schedule. I have the kids. My wife left. I have no idea what the hell is going on in her head. Come July, I'm like mentally exhausted, right? Because she tells me like, listen, I don't want to be with you, or I'm gonna cheat on you. Fuck you. She's trying to physically attack me. I'm like mentally exhausted. I'm working 11 hours. I'm gone 11 hours of the day, working 10. I got to deal with the kids. I love my kids and I went through it. But then my kids are asking me, where's mommy? What's going on? Who's this guy that she keeps coming in with? Why do we have different babysitters? Why is your friend here? And I'm just like, I don't say negative shit about her, anything. I don't say anything bad about their mother. I say,
Yeah.
listen, your mom is just trying to do something to make her happy. I don't know what it is. I can't talk to her though. Like, just bear with it. It's fine. I'm here. But then it gets too much. I have to call my mom. I'm like, Mom, listen, as far as I know, you know, my wife wants to leave me. My mom is like, well, okay, what do we do? I'm like, well, the kids are going to be in school until I go to, they finish school, and in the summer I'll see if like maybe I could take them up there by you, maybe every weekend or every other weekend or something, like just to help me out. My mom is like, she's like, what happened? I'm like, well, my wife, my ex, she left and she's been gone for like 2 weeks. When she comes in when I'm not there, and I have no idea what's going on. She won't talk to me. I'm trying to text her, let her know what's going on with the kids. And my mom is like, you got to go to court. You got to go to family court. That's abandonment. Do this, do that. I didn't listen to my mom because I still loved my wife. I'm like, no, I can't do that, Mom. I don't want her to get arrested. I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. My mom is like, son, just do it. You know, get the custody, and then you could figure out what happens. I didn't listen to my mom. I go up there. I take the kids up there for one last weekend. I come back down for July 4th. They start blaming me. My son got sick. I told them, I said, listen, that's a bad coincidence because he was fine when I was upstate. They start blaming me, saying I can't take care of the kids, this, that, the other thing. They won't listen to me. She kicks me out. I came back one day. I was trying to clean up the apartment. She kicks me out. I have to go to Brooklyn to one of my friends to live there for like 2 weeks until I can get my like a U-Haul and get my stuff, because she doesn't even want me in the apartment anymore. And the apartment's in Manhattan. It's like Midtown Manhattan. She gets mad that I had guys come in with a U-Haul and take all my stuff out. And I'm in Brooklyn at my friend's house. He's helping me out. I'm on his like air mattress. She comes, she leaves the kids with her mom. She comes down to me. She took my phone too, right? Because she threatened me.
Jeez.
She threatened me. She took my phone. She starts reading the messages with my mother. And I'm like, listen, I'm not putting my hands on you, but whatever, like you can take, here's my phone. I don't care what you see. Because again, she's threatening me. She starts getting upset with the shit that my mother and I are talking about. Meanwhile, I've been from, if anything, March of 2023 to July of 2023. I've been sort of on autopilot because I've been traumatized. Like, I talk to my life coach. My life coach wants me to go back to my core trauma. I tell him my core trauma is my ex trying to force me into a polyamorous relationship and then flat out cheating on me. She goes to my friend's house in Brooklyn with this guy that she's with to his address. She tells me we're going to go see the kids. Instead, she locks me in the car with him and her. She's driving. Drives me all the way up to my mother's house. We're on the I-87. The doors are locked, right? I'm not going to open the door and jump out in a highway. But they're just yelling at me. They take off their shoe and start hitting me with the shoe. She starts yelling at me. She's like, you're going to get your stuff back. You're going to put it back in the apartment. He's going to move in. You're going to use your last paycheck on my nails. You're going to use your paycheck on my hair. I don't give a fuck if you don't have money. You're going to use your money on me.
Jesus.
She's yelling at me while driving in the car, saying sweet shit to him at the same time because he's in the passenger seat next to her.
And now is he also still with his other girl? They're both girls are with him?
I don't know what happened to the other girl, but this is the thing, because when I've shown up, the few times that I've shown up to try and be with the kids, this is the funny thing. So the girl and my ex were suicidal. They had so much trauma that they were suicidal at some point. My ex and this guy are sitting in the living room laughing about the fact that his other girl was suicidal. Like, they don't even give a fuck.
Jeez.
They're over here laughing like, oh yeah, she called the hotline the other day, like fuck that. And she tried to go to it's like he was pitying her. They're over here thinking that somehow Polly is gonna mend everybody's relationship, because little did I know, when the girl was living for 2 weeks with me and my ex, this girl was saying all this shit to my ex, like, oh, Polly is great. It fixes my relationship. It can fix your marriage. The guy shows up and he says, oh yeah, my girl called me saying you need to fix this marriage. And then I find out all these problems between him and his girl. And I'm the only one sitting here going, does this not sound wrong to anybody?
Right. How does this make sense?
Yeah, I know I'm not with your girl. I'm not gay, so I'm not with you. And I can work on my marriage with my wife, but none of y'all seem to get along, or you're all trauma bonded. I'm the only one here. They used to smoke weed until 4 a.m, and I'm the one coming back at 11 p.m. at night and then waking up at 6 to take the kids to school. I went to family court twice, and I dropped the case against my ex because I wasn't trying to do that. I just wanted to sit down and have a reasonable discussion with her, because we had tried marriage counseling. We had tried couples counseling. But no matter what, anything I said didn't get through to her. I felt like I had to walk on eggshells anytime I wanted to talk to her, even with the counselor. And then we had 2 counselors, and both of them said, you need individual therapy before you do couples therapy again. So I got an individual counselor, and I got a therapist specifically for polyamorous relationships. I specifically looked for him. And this guy, when I explained everything, he said, David, they're trying to pull one over you. This is not a poly relationship. Like, he diagnosed me. He diagnosed me with like PTSD for a while. And I had to take that to my job and say, listen, my wife left. I have like PTSD. I need to work remote or figure something out. I couldn't stay at my mom's house upstate in the summer of 2023 and travel to the city to work. So I had to go to a shelter. I got accepted into a shelter, and I got more counseling, more therapy. I went back to God because it was a Christian shelter. So I started praying.
And you're still going to work every day.
And I'm still going to work.
Wow.
I had to be in it's a shelter that had like 30 to 40 beds in one big room. I'm on a bunk bed. These guys are homeless, or these guys are down on their luck. Some of these guys are like dirty, they stink. I'm over here like, well, I had an apartment. I have nice clothes. I have, a bag with all my stuff. They transitioned me to something smaller, and it's a dorm style, so I share one room with 3 other guys, which was better. But the shelter, they do drug testing, they do alcohol testing, you have a curfew, and because it's a Christian shelter, you have to do acts of service to keep your spot, and then you have to donate money. They hold on to the money for you so you could get an apartment or a room later, but you have to donate money. So,
oh, nice.
So again, I run into the problem of, well, I'm not making enough money, because money I would give to my kids and pay the bills is going to the shelter, and I still have nothing. There were times when I couldn't afford to take the bus to go see my kids just to take them to camp. So I'm walking 30 blocks just to get to the apartment. And if I couldn't stay in the shelter, I was sleeping in the office because the office was like a 15-minute walk from the apartment. So I'm doing everything I can to just manage all the money, try to talk have a nice conversation with my ex, not be traumatized, and still be there for my kids. It wasn't until November of 2023 when I had to go upstate because her mother couldn't watch me anymore. She was fighting with her mother and her father. I I got kicked out of the shelter because they only gave you 2 overnight passes. I had to stay with the kids for like 3 nights, so I couldn't stay in the shelter. She goes out on a Saturday. She hangs out with the boyfriend for the whole night. I don't say shit to her. I say, you know what? I'm good. I'll watch the kids, whatever. I'm not even trying to control her. She texts me Sunday morning, 6 a.m. She's saying, oh, I'm having breakfast and then I'll come back. She doesn't come back till Sunday at 11 p.m. The kids are asking me, where's mom, where's mom, where's mom? I just say she's working. I don't know where the fuck she is. And again, I'm giving her space. She asked me for the space. She told me, I don't want to see you. And then she gets mad that I moved out of the apartment or that I took my stuff out. I told her, go see the guy. She gets mad that I'm not fighting for that. She comes back 11 p.m. with the guy, goes to the bedroom. I'm on the couch with the kids. I told her, I said, listen, your mother told you, your father told you, my mother said the same thing. Friends have said the same thing. I'm telling you the same thing. He needs to go. I don't care that you were out with him all night. If that's what you wanted, fine. It's 11 p.m. The kids got to go to school in the morning. We can either do it together or I'll do it in the morning, but he needs to go. Meanwhile, she's like, you can stay in the bedroom, put your stuff in the bedroom, put your clothes. I had clothes from the shelter I put back in the bedroom. I'm telling her, listen, if he doesn't go, I have to call the cops because technically he's not allowed to be here. She comes up, she's trying to grab my stuff to throw it outside. I'm like, don't grab my stuff. She starts spitting in my face. She claims I'm trying to hit her. I'm like, no, I'm reaching out, like, give me my shirt back. She has my shirt in a hanger. She's trying to throw it out. I'm like, put my shirt down. She's spitting in my face. I'm like, put my shirt down. She's trying to she leaves. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go call the cops. She goes and tries to grab my phone. She grabs my phone. She throws it in the kitchen sink and runs it under the water, trying to make it, drown it, short it out, whatever the fuck it is. I run to the kitchen.
Jesus.
I know. I run to the kitchen. I'm like, listen, I need that phone for work. What are you doing? So I go to get the phone from her. The guy comes up behind me, puts me in a chokehold. I'm literally in a chokehold. He literally has his hands on me. I'm in a chokehold. She runs to the bathroom, throws the phone in the toilet to try and make it.
And the kids are in the living room?
The kids are still sleeping on the fucking living room when all of this is going on.
That's crazy.
The guy is taller than me. I don't really know any way to get out of it, so I like do like a death grip on his balls really hard to get him to let me out of this. Because he's fat too. So right. I'm like, if I elbow him, I'm hitting nothing but fat. Right? He got a big ass belly.
Right. That's probably your only move.
Yeah,
I agree.
If I had a knife, I would have stabbed him, but I didn't grab a knife.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying not to get arrested, so I do a death grip on his balls as hard as I can just to get out of the thing. I get out of the thing. He lets me out because obviously I'm grabbing his balls. He feels some type of way about it. Either it hurts him or he's thinking this is gay, so he lets me out. I go to get my phone. Thank God my phone was still working. It was run under the kitchen sink and then thrown into the bathroom toilet. The phone is still working, so I call the cops.
Jesus.
She then grabs the kids and goes to the bedroom. And I told her parents, I'm like, listen, I had to call the cops because they put their hands on me. Her dad takes a taxi, goes straight to our apartment. The cops are there, and then the cops are trying to talk to me and to her. And this is the stupid part. They flipped the cops onto me. So they told
Mm.
me we're both on the lease. They told me that I had to leave. So they escort me and get all of my stuff, and they tell me I have to go. So I sleep at my in-laws for like a night. After that day, I had to like I quit my job in the city because I'm like this is. She used to come to my job in the city and start freaking out in front, and the security guard had to tell her to leave. And the funny thing is, the security guard got divorced too, so he was telling me, "Oh, I know how that is."
He
He
understood.
understood. He's like, "Yeah, she's
Yeah.
gonna come and try to fuck up your job and everything." So he
Yeah.
always had my back. She couldn't come to my job because he was there. So that's November. That's literally 2 weeks before Thanksgiving of 2023. I go upstate full time. All my stuff is there. The last of my stuff is in like a laundry bag and a duffel bag because I took it from my in-laws. Because I said, you know what, if I'm gonna live somewhere, I'm not living with my in-laws because I don't like my in-laws, but I'm gonna live with my mom and my sister.
It is good though that they took you in for a minute. I mean, that's respectable for sure.
They took me in because they didn't know what the fuck was going on, and so this,
Right.
and this is the problem, right? Because everybody claims I'm not empathetic. They claim that I'm not aware of what's going on. My ex cannot be with her parents because her parents were not the best. Her parents were separated her whole life. She grew up in a separated household.
Mm.
They never got divorced, and she never knew like what the fuck was going on. It wasn't until she decided to separate that all
Yeah.
of a sudden it started clicking. Oh, this is why my mom and dad sleep separate. This is why they don't do anything together. They just live in the same house. She had a lot of trauma in her life, and she couldn't go to them for help, so she has abandonment issues.
But she's kind of repeating what her parents did with her with now you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So the problem is when we were trying to figure out this poly thing, and I'm over here, I'm talking to the guy. We all were smoking. We all got high, and I poured my soul out to the guy. I said, "Listen, man, life is hard. I really love this woman, but damn, she's fucking hard to be with. Like, I can't keep up with her empathy. She's taking all my money. I'm really trying to be there with the kids, but she's not working. She can't work because when she does work, she can't fucking take the stress. She says there's no intimacy. I've been trying to regain the intimacy. I've been doing X, Y, and Z. Like I had asked this guy for help, but I didn't want it to be poly, and poly wasn't the solution anyway. And then she's turning around and saying, "Oh, well, David, your parents did this to you. Your mom did that to you. Your dad did this to you." She's trying to turn me against my mom. And as far as I can tell, she's jealous that my sister was 16, and my sister tried to fight her. That's how that's how that's how
Jeez.
much my sister and my mom had my back because they were like, "Listen," my mom's like, "Listen, you can come up here, stay up here," because I used to go up to my mom's on the weekends in the summer because that was the only place I could go if it wasn't the shelter or sleeping in the office. So my mom was like, she's cooking for me, helping me with my laundry because all I need to do is just sleep, catch up on sleep, you know, go into nature, take a hike, feel better, just to go back through the shit on Monday. So my
Right.
mom and my sister are helping me out. So as far as I'm concerned, my ex is jealous that my mom and my sister have my back. She wishes her family could have her back like that.
Right.
She is upset that, I couldn't she's saying that I couldn't be a good father and a good parent, but we had our first daughter when we were 23. I sat there and I had this conversation with my ex and I said, baby, we can't do this. This doesn't work right now. I wanted to marry her. I wanted to give her kids. The job I have now at 32, I can, if I didn't have kids and I wasn't going through a divorce, I could afford to meet a woman and give her kids and marry her. I could afford to do that now. And that makes sense to me as a 32-year-old. she doesn't want to take the accountability for that. I've apologized to her so many times. I'm over here saying, listen, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else to apologize to you. I'm done. Let's just get the divorce. I don't care anymore. I just want my kids.
Yeah, the tough thing is like love's a bitch, you know? It's, you know, you went I can't even imagine what you went through. I mean, this story is insane. You went through I mean, even just to going into a shelter and you're still working in the city and it's just like it's unbelievable. And the whole poly thing, it's like I've never really understood, you know, I see the shows on TV, but I've never really understood any of it. But it just seems like it's just such a mess to deal with. And what you're saying is, I mean, it really is kind of just so messy. But it just seems like you just need to work on yourself and your kids, obviously, and just forget about her because you can't help her. I mean, I think she's just so gone.
That's the thing, right? I've gone back multiple times. I told her, I said, listen, for Thanksgiving, can we at least be the five of us because we're a family of five? I go there, the guy is there. So I'm just like,
I'm surprised they're still making it work.
I'm just there like, she asked me, is this okay? I'm like, no, this isn't okay. I'm going to leave. So I leave. Christmas comes. I say the same thing. Listen, can it just be the five of us? I spent Christmas Eve, the five of us. He shows up Christmas Day. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I meant. It had to be the two of us. So after that, I stopped because a few years I didn't even bother going. And then after that, you know, she would try to call me. She would try to text me like, hey, what are we doing? I'm just like, are you still with the guy? She's like, maybe. I'm like, well, I'm not talking to you. I told her if something's wrong with the kids, just text me. Every time she texted me or called me after that, she wanted to compare me to the guy. I'm just like, listen, I had to get an order of protection, and the order of protection states you are not allowed to, A, touch me, but B, you're not allowed to talk about anything except the children. Anytime she tried
about
the kids, anytime I tried to say something about the kids, she brings up the other guy. I have to say, nope, protection. We're not going this route. She wanted me to have supervised visits in Manhattan only because I'm living with my
that's like the go-to.
Yeah, because I'm living with my mom and my sister, and she doesn't want my mom and my sister around the kids. And my lawyer said, well, they live with you, David. You can't block them. They can't take the house away. They can't kick your mom out of the house. And my lawyer keeps saying, if they keep bothering you, do not engage with them. So family court is a court-appointed lawyer. But I told my ex from the jump, from February of 2024, I said, hey, this is my plan. This is what I would like to do with the kids. This is what I'm offering you. She never countered. I went to my lawyer. I said, lawyer, this is my plan. I offered it to her. We had a verbal agreement. She backed out of the verbal agreement, so my lawyer puts it in writing. The women, they're going to drag their feet on the court case. They're going to put in paperwork at the last minute. She puts in paperwork trying to call me a liar, call me an unfit parent. She claims I'm an alcoholic. She claims I do drugs. I got a drug test because I got a job at the post office for a little bit. That's a federal agency. You get a drive.
Right, where you can't be doing drugs. You need a drug test.
You get a drug test. You get a blood toxicology screening. They teach you how to drive. I'm clean. I'm good.
Yeah.
My lawyer says do not interact with them. Do not call them. Do not do anything with them. She gets mad, my ex, that I'm not responding calls, I'm not responding text messages, anything like that. I have to remind her, if you are going to harass me, we cannot do this. But I just don't want to interact with her. I don't want to interact with him.
Right.
I want my legal rights. I'm still the father. I want, custody as much as I can, my parenting time, all of that, because moving upstate has actually been one of the better things for me. I got a new job in Manhattan, pays a hell of a lot more. I got a second job in Albany. I know I'm going to be involved with her technically until the kids are grown, but there's a boundary that you have to set. So for any man out there, any dad, if you're on the phone, if you're on a video call, whatever, and you set your boundary, record it, put it in a text message, and screenshot that shit. Go to your lawyer and say, listen, this is the boundary I set. Here's the proof. We had a verbal agreement behind this. And do not be afraid to put that order of protection, because it might make you look weak, but it's not your job to be the therapist. It's not your job to be the lawyer. It's not your job to be the counselor, right? I tried to be the counselor for my ex. It didn't work. I tried to work for my kids, and it didn't work. I lost the job because of her and the stuff that happened with my kids, right? It wasn't until I went upstate and I just said, fuck it to everything, that I met all these people, I got all these jobs, my mental health cleared up. Financially, I'm still not there because I just got this new job, but I can make it.
Me down, you can hold me down. You can hold me down. You can hold me down.